Morning, everyone. Anthony here. It's Friday, October 21st, 2016. And today we're looking at another article from the SHTF school. This one is written by Selko. It's entitled The USA, Looking in the Balkans Mirror. I read it yesterday and I thought it would be good to post here and read through it and get some opinions and get some feedback on it. And so with that, I'll start reading and we'll get your comments afterwards. For years, I've been following news from the survival realm all over the internet. One thing is for sure, every day in those years when I read survival news, I could conclude based on the headlines that the world is going to chaos and end in the next week, next month, or next year. And still we are here discussing, we have all the comforts and commodities. Let's say we're doing fine. But now, for the first time, I have a feeling that the world is going to chaos really soon. Too many things are seemingly moving inside global calculations, and this time we could be close to a big one. No matter how much food, ammo, training, and skills you have, when SHTF, you are going to be surprised. Most of us have been in the mode of preparing for something that is not happening for years, and when it finally happens, there's going to be a period of shock for the folks. And in that period, a lot of people are going to die. Since most of the folks who read my stuff and subscribe to my courses are from the US, things that are written here are meant for them mostly, but not exclusively for them. Every now and then, I get questions about similarities between the US and the Balkans before SHTF, and I have read a couple of good articles about the same topic lately. Since I have a lot of people that I can call good friends and are from the States, I'm going to point out some things about my Balkan SHTF and possible US SHTF. There are some serious, worrying parallels, even though we are talking about two different systems. Feel free to prove me wrong in the comments. I'm open to discussion. Plato would say this, the people have always some champion whom they set over them and nurse into greatness. This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs. When he first appears above ground, he is a protector, having a mob entirely at his disposal. And I think, guys, we've seen that in the all the uprisings around the country that have taken place in recent months. The mobs, the rioting, the people being bussed in, the criminals, the murders, the cop killings, the list goes on and on. The supporting of groups like Black Lives Matters that stand for hate and discord and separation and racism. I think you can see where Selko's coming from in this article. So let's continue. I have lived in this system in a country where we believe that we are all equal. Different nationalities, different religions, etc., melted all together to make one big prosperous nation, to be great and equal, united. And then leverage of world forces simply changed. And suddenly we are being taught that differences between us are more important than similarities and one nations. Old history battles are being taught again. One group suddenly is more important than another, and so on and so on. And then the leaders or saviors that led us against others. After years of carnage, here we are again with almost the same leaders. I've been through the war and met many folks on every side shooting because they have been told that the other side is evil, and yet all sides are the same at the end. Rich are richer, poor are poorer, nothing changed. Nobody learned nothing. Again and again, there is a big circle and small circle. You may have an illusion that you are controlling things in bigger circle, but it is only an illusion. What kind of government you're going to have and what kind of politics they use in the next years is not up to you. You just have been smartly led to believe that you can make the change. It is like that. At the end, it all comes to the matter of power and possession, and you are just a small piece of everything. You are part of the tool. Over the years, I have learned that it is more important to have one more month of food stored or one more skill learned than to waste time worrying on who is going to be elected. It is a waste of time When SHTF, they're all going to do the same, more or less. Oppress people and take their rights and liberties very easy. Your rights. Living in society where you have certain rights and freedoms for years is a good thing. The bad thing is when SHTF and you lose all those rights in a single day, and you find yourself so shocked that you simply do not know what to do next. Because you had those rights for many years, it became totally natural for you to own it. Having lots of conversations with friends from the US, I concluded that the majority of common folks there simply do not understand that all your rights can be lost in one day. And not by the evil invaders from space or the Russians or whoever. Your government can take it in one day. The majority of folks simply do not see this as a possible option, and even preppers there who understand it may look like weirdos because of this viewpoint. Do not get me wrong, I would love to live in a country where I could buy weapons easily, where I have rights to protect my home, and where I can say freely, more or less, what I do not like. I like that very much. Actually, I admire it. What I do not like is feeling that most people think it is written in the stone and it cannot be changed. In short, things that I like most about US is going to be the biggest loss in the US when the SHTF. And not only the US, when the SHTF, there is going to be a lot of surprised people, a lot of shock. Your perception of future SHTF and the prepper movement in the USA. I cannot get rid of the feeling that the majority of people see SHTF as big fun, shooting while drinking beer with additional testing of all their cool gear. I see that in blogs, comments, forums, documentaries, movies. I had more than one participants of my course who told me this is not fun, it's hard, and not so pleasant. I had people who have been preppers for 30 years never considered the fact that when SHTF is going to be smelly all around you. There's been a man who advises skateboard as good transport through SHTF City, a man who thinks that 30 brand new gold coins are going to get him through problems on his bug out trip, and so on and on. Now, I'm not mocking with people who stated all the above. What I do not like is believing in facts that are not checked. If you've never been through SHTF, you may not have the idea that it is not fun, but quite hard and unpleasant. Where do you think people and dead animals are going to be buried? Where will the garbage be taken? Human waste and everything else. A foul smell is going to be constant. Do you think offering someone a brand new gold coin for safe passage won't bring some, maybe he has more of those interesting, funny, unusual gold things with him attention? Why don't you try to have 10 cheap gold rings in your pocket instead, and offer one on every checkpoint, one that you can directly pull from your finger with words, "Here, take my engagement ring and let me pass"? Is a guy going to think, maybe he has more of those engagement rings in his pocket? Same things go with trade. Examples are numerous. Common sense is something that is missing mostly in mainstream prepper movements, and I understand that. It is business and it is about money. But folks, choose carefully what advice you're taking is real. For the average beginner prepper, the USA looks like paradise, a place where you can look and find the correct information. Also look and find correct equipment for future SHTF. But that also brings risk, because there are more false and wrong information and mindset than right. Personally, I like what can be found in the US because in most cases I know what is good or bad, but for beginners it is much, much harder. Conclusion. As some kind of conclusion for this very hard topic, because it is wrong to put things right with generalization. Number one, it's going to be very ugly, much more ugly than SHTF experience here, simply because the fall when SHTF is going to be bigger. The distance between modern everyday life and life in SHTF for the USA is way bigger than in my time. The majority of folks are soft and too dependent on the system. Number two, the survival movement is big business and has become much more about selling items to make you believe that you are prepared than about learning and gaining knowledge. 3. Wrong perceptions about SHTF, or at least not checked and experienced beliefs, are rooted so hard they have simply become the accepted truths. A lot of these truths are simply false, and they're for earning money, not for survival. 4. A good thing is that you have much more options about choosing and owning weapons, but this option can bite you back if you have weapons, but with the wrong mindset. Truths and knowledge simply because a whole bunch of bad people are going to have weapons too. The majority of folks are not ready to bend the rules and adapt. There is a lot of talk about adapting, but then suddenly you get a whole bunch of folks who are thinking, I'll do that or I'll never do that, instead of I'll do what has to be done or adapt to the situation. Working with other folks. You need to work with other folks to have friends, a group, connections before SHTF. Survival alone is for really tough mothers. 7. People prepare for SHTF, but not really. They are preparing for the romantic movie version of SHTF. They want to feel cool and comfortable when SHTF, which is not a problem by itself. The problem is that at the expense of real knowledge and covering of real basics. So you have a man who has a fancy and really cool rifle, but does not know how easy and fast in a real fight it is to use 500 rounds. So he ends up without ammo in a week. Or he has a generator but does not have a clue how to light a fire, or the differences between fuels for fire in terms of heating, smoking, etc. Many examples. 8. Do not look for higher reasons for the situation. You may have political options today, fractions, candidates, government, but when SHTF, all that are empty words from some other distant time. When SHTF, you will have yourself and people who want to harm you. That is it. Some folks, make sure you're prepping for the realities. I would encourage you to start fact-checking your plans and preps today. I think this is a timely article written here by Selko, and I'm going to make some more comments over the weekend and focus some of my videos on, this topic and what's going on in the United States politically, and now also what's going around the world geopolitically, because it affects us, and it's going to affect our future and our children's future. And so, in looking at today's article, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. SHTF is not going to be pretty when it happens here, and it will happen here. There is something big getting ready to take place. I've said that in many videos leading up to this election. I think we've seen the hatred that has been spawned, the lying, the cheating that is being done right now in the open. By not only leaders in our country. You could see the factions moving together, those that have been on the same team all along moving together. But you're seeing the system is rigged, like Donald Trump said. Even though I don't think he's the savior for the United States, the system is rigged. We are in for a big ride, guys, and our rights, our liberties, like Selko says, can be taken away in a day, one day. You could wake up, go to bed one night, and the next morning wake up, and it all be gone. Are you ready for that environment? Are you ready to handle the stress of SHTF, the smells, the waste, the garbage piling up, the no electricity, the being able to get clean water, the dealing with simple things that normally we could get cures for? Those simple things can become death traps in SHTF, small cuts and infections, etc. Guys, I want to stress to be ready for you, your family, your groups, people around you, but don't fall for a lot of what's being said today, that we're going to be like the olden days and everything's going to be good moving forward. Things are not going to be good. Things are moving in a very bad direction in this country, and I want you, my subscribers, to be ready. So with that, I'll close. Have a great Friday with your families and friends, and stay safe, and most of all, stay ready. God bless. Take care, Anthony. signing off.